안녕, 저는 Allie입니다. Hi guys, my name is Allie and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen, you should go watch my kimchi fried rice video. It turned out so good. But today I'm going to tell you guys how I teach myself Korean on a day-to-day basis. I'm so proud of myself and how far I've come with learning Korean, considering I've done it all by myself with the help of a lot of resources. But it's something to be super proud of when you learn a second language, and I'm getting to the point where I can say that I'm happy with my progress and where I'm headed. So if you are interested in learning a second language, I'm going to go over a couple things that help me learn Korean. So let's go! So the very first thing that you need to do when learning a second language is to have a goal and have a reason for that goal. It can be anything. My goal is to speak Korean fluently and be confident while speaking Korean. And the reason is just because I find the language so fascinating. I'm very interested by it. I want to go back to Korea and teach English abroad or have a job at a cafe and continue to do YouTube full time. So that's my goal. It can be anything though. Maybe it's speaking to your family members or just learning a language so you can make friends within that culture. I think that's a great idea too. But mine is because I want to speak it fluently. I feel like I'm not that far from where I want to be. It's going to take me about like another year. But I'm excited and I'm ready, and the second thing is that you just have to be passionate about what you're learning. I was horrible at school. I was not a good student. I didn't like to study. I didn't like to do anything. So once I started learning Korean and I could actually sit down for more than 30 minutes at a time and stay focused on my studies, it just shocked me, because this is something that I really want to do. I really want to learn Korean and I really want to be able to speak it fluently. That's what drives me to study every day. This video is going to be very Korean focused, but I'm sure that there are very good resources out there, maybe even similar resources that you can also use to learn other languages. But for this video, I'm going to stick to a lot of the resources that I've been using to learn Korean. So if you're also trying to learn Korean, I'm going to go over how I started and what I did. So I went to Korea in 2018. Before I went to Korea, I spent about 3 months studying how to read it and write it. Not as much understanding it. I learned the alphabet. The alphabet's really easy. So teach yourself the alphabet. It's just memorization. And try putting words together. And try spelling English words in the Korean language. That was an easy way for me to understand and grasp like what I'm learning and what to do with the letters. Once I arrived in Korea, I decided to put myself into Korean 2. And I knew that Korean 1 would be too easy and too basic for me because I had spent the last couple months really studying super hard before I went to Korea. So I decided to put myself in Korean language number 2. And I could understand the teacher, but the entire class was in Korean, and I don't think that I was ready for that. So I had to drop the class, but I continued to study on my own. I did a lot of vocabulary. That is what you have to start with first before you start speaking any types of sentences or learning any grammar, in my opinion. I think that once you have a good chunk of verbs, a good chunk of nouns, a good chunk of adverbs and adjectives, then you can start to formulate sentences. I'm only recently starting to formulate my own sentences, and I'm using the connective words like and, so, but, if. So this is kind of like where I'm at, is making my sentences longer and more interesting. Instead of just saying like I went running, I can now say I went running because it was really nice outside. Or I like to run because it makes me feel really good. So definitely start with vocabulary. We'll start with the alphabet, vocabulary, and then you can go on to forming simple sentences. The next thing that helps me a lot is, I know nobody likes the word study, but at least study for 30 minutes a day if you're trying to quickly learn a language. I want to do this in a fast process just because I'm so excited and willing to study and sit down and learn. but you don't have to, but just make sure that you're keeping updated on your words every day, that you don't forget anything. I took a huge break from learning Korean and I forgot so much. So imagine the small amounts of like, oh, I took a week break, I took another week break, I took another week break. It's gonna take you like another week to remember everything that you had just forgotten. So at least try to study 30 minutes a day, maybe even 15. I'm like out of breath. I'm so excited to tell you about this video. Study every day. I love to study Korean. I think it's fun. It's like to me, it's a hobby for mine. It's a hobby of mine. Sometimes, let me know if anyone else feels this way, but if you're learning a new language, your native language becomes a little bit wacky, because I'm learning how to switch around my grammar and I'm learning a completely new language, and it sometimes makes my English a little bit bad, I feel like. Maybe that's just me. Let me know in the comments if anyone else has ever experienced that, but I think that it's hilarious. So please, if you're learning a language, at least sit down for 30 minutes a day and go over the words that you learned the day before. It doesn't always have to be a new lesson. Just review, and you will be impressed and astounded by how fast and how quickly you are picking up on your words and memorization. I would say the next thing that helps me learn Korean is truly trying to surround myself with people who speak Korean. It's not the easiest thing to do, and you're gonna have to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. There's an app called Hello Talk, and I've been on it almost every single day. I'm thinking about going VIP, just because of the benefits that they provide and stuff, but you get to speak with native speakers of whatever language you choose and kind of just go over the basic introductions, and that's so helpful. I'm learning words like to put salt in, or to go outside, or to turn the light on and off, like, but those aren't things that are gonna help me in like introducing myself and saying who I am and what I like to do. And the easiest way to do all of that is with somebody else. So somebody else is asking you, what do you like to do? You get to respond in either English or Korean. I try my best to respond in Korean, and you just get to converse back and forth like that, like small talk. Small talk in English is no fun, you know, but in a new language, it's so helpful to do it over and over and over again, because there are so many people that message you and it's just like repetition. And it's gotten to the point where I feel confident introducing myself and saying what my hobbies are and telling them to go watch my YouTube videos. So it's super exciting. But definitely try to make Korean friends, or a lot of Korean people will love to share their culture with you. Korean people love their culture, as well as the people like me who are trying to learn it, and they love to share it with us. So if you can, try to find people in your area, maybe join groups so that you can meet more Korean friends. It sounds weird, but if you really want to learn a language, I would do the same thing with Spanish. If I was trying to learn Spanish, I would immerse myself in the Spanish culture and try to make as many friends as I can that can teach me more about it and speak around me in their language. A great resource for learning Korean, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, it's Talk to Me in Korean. They have so many free videos online that can teach you so much. Of course, they also have their books, and I'm sure their books are amazing, which I do encourage you to get at least a couple books. I have two. I have a Korean Grammar in Use for Beginners, and it just tells me things like the time, like learning, just a bunch of stuff that I filled out like more than half of this book back in 2018. So I'm gonna have to basically erase everything that I did in this book and that I learned and start over, because I really need a refresher on just basic things like, let's see, listing and contrast. Like, I just need a lot of help with grammar for sure. And then I also have a Korean vocabulary practice for beginners. This gives me all of the words that I need and sample sentences. Gives me antonyms and what else? related words, expression, usage, and example sentences. This book is really helpful. So I do recommend getting a couple books. I would recommend getting them from Talk to Me in Korean because they teach Korean in such a simple, easy way to understand, and I really appreciate them for that. So my two apps that I've been using a lot, well, let's say I've been using Talk to Me in Korean a lot. I've been using Hello Talk. I've been using Hello Words. I used to use Duolingo, and apart from that, I just watch random YouTube videos. Like, say today I wanted to learn time, like how to say the time, what's the time. I would just look up a video on YouTube, that's the most popular one, and play that out, write down my stuff in my notebook, and then review it the next day and the next day and the next day. I'd probably review it for like 4 or 5 days before you kind of move on to the next lesson. Otherwise, you're just going to stress yourself out with a bunch of words that you have no idea how to use. So take your time and go slow with learning. Learn the words, put them in use, and then review those and make new sentences, make more new sentences, and then you can move on to the next lesson. And I think one of the last things that I want to talk about is, I've already kind of hit on it a little bit, but just make sure that this is something that you want to do. You have to have passion behind your action or not much good will come out of it. You know, I'm really passionate about this. Like, I want to be fluent. I want to maybe even work on an airline, like a Korean airline, and speak Korean to all of the people, like be a flight attendant for a Korean airline. Like, how cool would that be? Like, I feel like once I learn in my second language, so many opportunities are going to open up for me, and that's what makes me so excited. That's what keeps me studying 30 minutes every day. And I don't know, you just have to have your reason, find your reason and stick to it. Maybe even repeat that reason every morning or every day when you're studying. Like, why am I doing this again? Even when it gets hard. Because I have a long way to go, but I have to keep telling myself, like, this is what you want to do. You want to go back to Korea. You want to speak fluently. You want to get a job in Korea. Like, how amazing would it be to be able to walk around and feel comfortable speaking a second language? Like, how... It's just so exciting to me. I wish I could grab the camera and just, like, shake you back and forth, because I am just super excited about learning, and I want you guys to be excited too. If you're trying to learn a new language, take these tips and tricks, maybe apply them to the language that you're learning. And if it's Korean, please ask me for help. Me helping anybody will help me in return, so that's all I want for myself is to help other people, maybe help myself in the process. But yeah, that's probably about it, and that's how I study Korean. If you have any suggestions on what else I could do to help me learn Korean faster, better, quicker, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear new suggestions about everyone else's study habits. But as for now, I think that's it from me. Let me know what language you're learning in the comments. Hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Annyeong!